traders, it's Chris from thedaxtrader.co.uk and it's the 24th of April. The trading disclaimer appears in the description below. Please read that before we continue. Let's jump straight into this. Okay, now on the daily chart, bearing in mind this is futures pricing, we have the fork line set. For those that haven't seen the previous videos, what we've been discussing with this is that when you have a pitchfork like we do here, and price respects or moves away from this C point, which it did, and gets above the median line, and then uses the median line as a springboard, it will often go off and complete its move and tag the upper median line parallel, which would be this line here. Now, whether that does that today or over the next few days, it's difficult to say, even if it does it at all. But if it did, it would get somewhere into this zone. So just keep an eye on this number up here at 485. Right now, we've had a consecutive 8-9 day run of bullish candles. So it's interesting, and we'd like to really see a break above 292 before we get a break below, well, yesterday's low, I would say. So we'll see whether that's a possibility. On the hourly chart, if you didn't see yesterday's video, this is a frequency line set. I originally drew this baseline, which is the lower one, upsloping low-to-low trend line with a couple of touches. And then what I did is I just drew a few other lines and made them parallel to the angle of this line to see whether it still respected the frequency of those lines in other places. And you can see on each of these lines that it does, and did. And what you'll often find in a trend is that frequency tends to be quite similar. And when frequency changes, you'll often find that that will be the potential start of a change of the trend. And you can draw some parallels from these lines to just check other places where you can see frequency. And yeah, it's interesting to go and measure it. Anyway, so that will be those. And the other ways you can measure this trend is the simple higher highs and higher lows, which is great. But I find that the change of frequency, changing behavior, is a leading way of being able to anticipate the change of a trend. And another way, of course, you can do that is to check these trend-defining levels. So at the moment, the trend-defining low is 12,124. That's this low down here. We've created the high of 12,292. At the moment, this 206 is not a confirmed higher low, simply because 292 has not been taken out yet. It just about tagged it, but it didn't take it out. So we need 292 to be taken out in order for 206 to be the new trend-defining level, and it would remain bullish above that. But for now, bullish above 124. As far as the levels are concerned today, we've pretty much taken out all of them. Point of control, the pivot, the value area high. We've also had a go at the value area low. Did not manage to get the low of yesterday, but we have taken out the high of yesterday. So I guess the only thing to take from this at the moment is that we are struggling to take out Thursday's high. Break above Thursday's high, it makes it interesting for a case to the upside. Break above yesterday's low, and we start to see a potential retracement back down towards previous point of control. Some of these lows down here could probably be quite interesting. Okay, now on the very first chart we looked at, which was the daily chart, I drew a zone. Let's go and take a look at that. I drew a zone up here, which would be the extension to get towards the upper median line parallel of this daily pitchfork. And you'll notice that on the previous chart we just looked at, that 484, which was similar to the previous level, is an exposed point of control. Now these are magnetic levels when price gets near to them. So if we do take a rally and continuation, which is definitely realistic, considering that the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq are at all-time highs, then this would be a longer-term target to aim for. And let's just take a look at some price action then. So I've drawn out what is a three-line line set. It's called an action center reaction line set. The center line is the middle line. The action line in this case is going to be the top line, and the reaction line will be the lower line. And this is work based on Babson, Marichal, Alan Andrews, really mainly Babson, but saying that there is action and reaction in financial markets. And you measure that by looking at a center line, starts its life as a trend line. So in this case, it's an upsloping low to low trend line. So you'll see here, yeah, it's loosely drawn. So you've got a touch, 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 another one here, another one roughly there. another one here. And you'll also notice that price is starting to expand away from that center line. So you've got this sort of expanding pivot kind of line set. And as it continually expands, you'll see that it accelerates up to its high, which will be here. So this is its point of action. And when it retraces, it often finds itself into some form of channel, like this. It tags the center line before breaking through the center line with some force. And when it does that, it's highly probable that you are going to get a move down towards the reaction line. And so you can then look at taking an opportunity to trade. So it breaks its channel and it breaks the center line pretty much at the same point, which makes it a high probability. And the better that the center line is and the more touches that it gets, the better that this technique would be. And it gets straight down there. It tags out the reaction line, and then at this stage what you could do is perhaps a bit of a risk. It's what they call fishing for C, the letter C, rather than the body of water C. And you can draw a pitchfork from those three pivots, assuming that you get a reaction at this particular spot, which you often can do at a reaction line. And then from here you'd be able to take a counter trend trade, or it wouldn't be a counter trend trade, but it would be a reversal, if you like, from the current price action, which in this case was a pullback. And then you would be able to look at trading up towards the center line, because that's often what will happen. And in this case, it did exactly that. So it was interesting to see those play out. It would have happened over the course of half of a day, but it's still valid techniques that you can use to help with your trading. And as far as strategy is concerned for today, I mean, well, yesterday, quickly just looking at this, if you didn't see the video for yesterday, go and check that out. And we'll go into this in a bit more detail and show you what these different components are and how to set your stop losses and what you aim for as far as your reward to risk is concerned. But the examples from yesterday, very quick overview. You want to be selling when the overlay is red, and you want to be buying when the overlay is green, and potentially avoiding the other areas. So there would have been a sell here that would have likely failed. Another one here which would have maybe failed there because price closed above the dots, and that's an area that you'd get out. And then this one you perhaps could have got a few points out of. As far as the afternoon session, I had a couple of bullets yesterday which didn't work out for me, so I didn't trade on the Dax in the yesterday afternoon session, but I did take one on FTSE at a similar time. But this would have been a nice trade to get long. If you had have managed it conservatively, you'd have probably got out here. There'd have maybe been another opportunity to get in there, which you would have taken out over here. And then the final one would have been this one here, which you would have been able to ride more than likely all the way up to your target, or at least quite a few points, depending on what you were after. You would have more than likely got out as price changes over here. So simple strategy when you've got the overlay on the chart. If you're a Sierra Charts user and you're a member of the site, you get access to this anyway. If you're a Sierra Charts user but you're not a member of the site and you want to trial this, then you can do that. Just need to send me a message, and you can get my details on the website, and get me on Telegram is the easiest way. Just send me a message and I can add you. Anyway guys, but until tomorrow, that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it for today. Hope you have a good trading day, and until then, take care.